Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had no idea.
Is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Doctors revealed some startling health-related information, and no, it wasn't a surprise birthday celebration. Brittney is terrified, and to make things worse, even stranger, you won't believe a second of this chaos that is going to get violent. So stay tuned. The situation was totally turned upside down when Caitlin Clark went into full assault mode.
So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video.
Brittney Griner just had a full-blown tantrum. Not because someone ate the last piece of pizza, but because the doctors dropped a truth bomb so big that it made the WNBA's well-planned woke safe zone wobble like a Jenga tower in a typhoon. Yes, the same Brittney Griner who has been elbowing, screaming, and effectively turning women's basketball into a WE pay-per-view is now afraid, because doctors have decided to look more closely at her biological condition.
I would have predicted that Brittney Griner might get mistaken for a man.
For 6 years. We have all been told that all it takes to dominate women's sports is to declare yourself a woman. Meanwhile, other female athletes are left wondering if they should have done the same. This is the worst part. But Brittney didn't just cruise through. When she pursued Caitlin Clark, do you remember that little gem? She actually called her a trash white girl because, frankly, what's a little racism between woke teammates? That wasn't your normal bad sportsmanship. After practically pushing her way in, she threw a racial outburst.
And just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024. And now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia.
And stay put though, because this is where the delicious part begins. Instead of being your usual, fascinating stuff, the medical disclosures suggest that Brittney may be up to something else, since it involves a level of athletic advantage that most female players can only dream of. The WNBA's silence on the matter is deafening. This benefit is undeniable from a biological standpoint.
There are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
More perplexed than your grandmother is attempting to piece together what occurred. We're talking about trained medical professionals who have studied bone structure, muscle composition, recovery patterns, and even injury histories. This isn't a conspiracy that a few internet thugs made up. Brittney's body language and statements make TikTok trends inappropriate for the average female athlete. Imagine a physician stating, "Wait a minute, that's not a female bone density." The WNBA and said, "Move along, nothing to see here."
A trade for the merchant of death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. You think this was an even trade? The WNBA is nothing more than the WWE with women in basketball shorts.
And to exacerbate the situation, literally, the assault becomes less about dirty play and more about unfair domination. When you take into account the potential biological advantages Brittney has been hiding behind her gender identification, you want hypocrisy and the whole trash white female outburst feels like adding fuel to a fire that has been smoldering subtly in the background. On camera, Brittney is seen subtly hitting Caitlin Clark with a wrecking ball. Let's talk about how the WNBA has been advocating for inclusivity and fairness for years while disregarding these clear problems. Allowing one person to dominate the sport with an unfair advantage and a hint of racism while telling everyone that they are all individual snowflakes is the same as I guarantee that Brittney would not be vying for titles if she were a straight white girl. Rather, she would probably be benched before you could say virtue signal. Not to mention the entire Instagram AI controversy. Do you recall that video that went viral? Even while it might just be a malfunction, the WNBA's entire strategy is a system that is deaf to facts, ignorant of reality, and anxious to protect a player who might not match the league's own rules is well exemplified by the other medical questions that are piling up. The topless video that Brittney uploaded on Instagram managed to evade the platform's artificial intelligence, AI, which is meant to detect female nudity immediately. Rather, the AI seems to be so perplexed that it just ignored her, handling the content as if it were the work of a male athlete.
That the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million.
It used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
However, let's give credit where credit is due. Brittney's concern is understandable given that she may have to deal with questions about her eligibility in the future. Not only the humiliation of those racist comments or even the assault on Clark, Brittney's records will be cleared. And her reputation will be ruined if the medical community's demands for hormone tests, bone density scans, and chromosome testing are met. She might also serve as the spokesperson for the need for rigorous biological verification rather than merely I identify as rules in sports leagues, not to mention the ongoing legal issues. Lawsuits will be inevitable if it is discovered that Brittney has been competing under false pretenses. Imagine the number of sportsmen waiting to seek damages after losing out due to this woke loophole. A tiny business could go bankrupt from the financial consequences alone. They're hiding behind a wall of silence and damage control rather than embracing transparency or establishing a precedent for justice. Maybe they think the problem will go away if they ignore it, but it won't.
That's going to bump up to about $220 million a year, but even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear, like they have now that she's been injured. But that is not teaching this league anything. A couple of weeks ago, and even though it went viral, it somewhat got lost in the shuffle. Brittney Griner's effing white girl trash comments that was caught on video. Some people tried to claim it was effing whack call. I'm sorry.
Because the ultimate goal of women's sports is to promote equitable competition among female athletes. Not only are you violating the rules, but you are also destroying the entire playing field when you permit individuals with male biological advantages to join the league, since identification takes precedence over biology. And what does it say? To all the female athletes who put in a lot of effort to compete on an even playing field and are informed that their efforts are in vain. If Brittney Griner keeps playing in the WNBA without any responsibility or testing, this catastrophe has been upending the entire structure of women's sports for years. It is not just a Brittney Griner problem. Despite claiming to promote equality and empowerment, leagues such as the WNBA have secretly let biological facts be disregarded in the sake of political correctness. This has nothing to do with prejudice or hatred. It's considered preserving the spirit of competition that each and every athlete is entitled to. Sports have always been separated by sex because biology matters. Male and female bodies have quite different amounts of muscle mass. Ignoring these differences is irresponsible, not progressive. Hormone levels, lung capacity, and bone density are not only unimportant factors. They have benefits and drawbacks that affect how well athletes perform. The current face of this negligence is Brittney Griner. Experts' observations that Griner's physical characteristics are more consistent with male DNA are not meant to disparage her. Rather, they represent a call to uphold fair play. Decades of scientific investigation, not a few esoteric voices, provide the foundation for the growing concerns of the medical community.
On purpose, it's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game. It's very disruptive. It continues. Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
This is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what are you talking about? It's attitude, it's no humility, just entitlement, and that's not confidence, it's arrogance.
In addition to being unfair, it is depressing. And even more worrisome is the way the WNBA and other regulatory organizations have reacted instead of facing these challenging issues. Imagine if you were a female basketball player who spent years training, sacrificing tears and sweat to win a shot at greatness, only to have that shot taken by someone who, despite being a woman, had inherent physical advantages that cannot be eliminated by self-identification or hormone therapy alone. They have directly chosen to remain silent and obfuscated, as if admitting the problem would challenge their meticulously crafted facade of inclusivity. But the unpleasant truth is as follows. It is treachery and not inclusion at all when fairness is compromised for inclusivity. Fair competition is not as vital as safety. Women's sports are high impact, physically taxing, and sometimes brutal in addition to being recreational. Athletes are more likely to sustain injuries when competing on uneven ground, but the league seems content to overlook these problems rather than directly address them.
Once revealed in an ESPN interview, the struggle she faced with her body and outward appearance when she was growing up. Yes, she's very flat-chested. Listen, there's arguments about there. There's arguments out there about people that think she's not a biological woman. I ain't gonna argue with you too hard. Fact checkers say she is, but just essentially is completely flat-chested.
Let's also be clear that this isn't about tearing people down or taking away their freedom to live their lives as they see fit. Rather, it's about honoring the sacrifices made by female athletes, maintaining the competitive environment that women's sports have worked so hard to create, and ensuring that their efforts aren't undermined by laws that, if anything, don't reflect physical realities. Brittney Griner's situation should serve as a reminder that sports leagues need to develop clear, scientifically grounded qualifying criteria that respect biology and identity. Controversial, but ignoring the issue won't make it go away. Despite their best efforts to compete on an equal basis, these women's chances are restricted by insufficient regulation. The consequences might be catastrophic if this problem is not. Sponsors might stop supporting women's sports, followers might lose hope, and the sport's reputation might be damaged forever. Is not hyperbole. It is a real possibility if government bodies continue to prioritize appearances over justice.
WNBA is committed to eradicating racism, along with criticism and most other isms. Now, of course, feminism is allowed along with feminine masculinism. A week or so into the season, Bob Griner potentially violated the no space for hate policy. Bob was caught on video speaking blasphemous rhetoric towards the Great White Hope, but for some reason, Kat Engelbert is choosing to ignore it. Kat Engelbert can't find the interest to even launch an investigation.
Women's sports are ultimately a fiercely contested arena for equality, opportunity, and dignity rather than merely being a source of amusement. It's time to demand accountability, break the silence, advocate for transparency, and stand for women who are battling for more than medals on behalf of the athletes and spectators who feel duped. Yes, Brittney Griner's story is more than simply a headline. It's a sign of a much bigger problem, and if it's not handled, it will have far-reaching effects that will disrupt women's sports' very future on a worldwide scale. Everyone who cares about the game suffers when politics and unfair practices take precedence.